You're watching the 2024 Division III College Championships. Day 1 action coming at you. Men's pool play between the Whitman Sweets and the Williams Woofo squad. This will be a good battle for you folks. Thank you for tuning in. We're in beautiful Milwaukee, Wisconsin for this one. Theo on here with Jimmy Childwin. Jimmy, let's take a look at Whitman first. The 4 seed overall in this tournament, and last year they were in this same spot.
They've had really good records these past 2 years in very similar positions going into nationals. Last year at nationals, they did not have the results that they were looking for, not even making it out of pool play into the bracket play. This year, they're looking to flip the script, take this one season at a time, and go into it with a new outlook, ready to make it into the bracket. Both these teams already at 2-0 in their pools. Both have secured spots in the bracket, now looking to take the pool for themselves and get that first round bye in the bracket.
This is big for both squads because you don't want to have that extra game. So both teams are fired up. You see Whitman right there in the white. They're loading up. They just came off a win off Claremont, a feisty Claremont Brain Eater squad that pushed them to the brink, made them go into cap. Whereas Williams took care of business as well, defeating Carleton College Chop as we get a look at this Williams side. Right now, their defensive line is out, but their offense is run by number 41, Danny Klein. Big throws coming out of that player, and if they're going to be successful today, it's going to be off the back of number 41, Danny Klein.
Danny is their Donovan nominee for this year. He is known to have all the throws in his bag, and he is not afraid to let the disc fly. He is somebody to watch out for on their O-line and somebody that is going to be making the plays for them all day long, all tournament long.
So there you have it, 4-5 matchup. Pool D on the line. It's always the fun matchup of a tournament, right? The 4 versus 5. You could have seen them either way. They're going to play right now for the right to earn that free spot into tomorrow's bracket. Williams in dark. Going to start things off with Charlie Tannum. He's a big-time defender for this team, and we spoke to him before the game, Jimmy, and he mentioned how proud he was of the team's accomplishments throughout the year. Only 2 losses on the season. Looking deep for the aforementioned Tandem, and he's hit in the back. Subaya with a throw. See what the call is here.
A quick flash into the lane from Williams.
Check it in, and then you can all move, and then he'll go back to the line.
Tandem will tap it in as Williams will have it just on the doorstep, trying to get a break to get things started. Subaya, Karvik Subaya was the one who flashed in the lane, then threw the disc. Tandem now, big fakes. About 5 yards away. Trying to be patient right now, and Tandem thought he was open, now scrambling out of that open side lane. But there's a call, so don't celebrate too quickly if you're a Williams fan in the audience. Leo Gentile initially caught the score, but it will go back.
A lot of congestion right there by that front cone, causing that pick to be called.
Oh, yeah.
Clearing out of that space, allowing that to be open for one person to be able to get in there. Attack the front cone.
Saying stalling 5.
Nerves got to be high right now. You're on the live stream field. It's for the pool. You want to get out with the break, so everyone trying to crowd that space. Zimmerman floating it up, but ripped down in the air is Colin Pfister. The Seattle Washington product gets it back for Whitman. That's huge because they had a first row turnover to start this game. Well, let's see if their offense can flow here. They get the first throw off, and that's what you want to see as they get things moving over to Deringer. Nichols now at midfield. Good pressure from Tandem. See if there's going to be a call. It looked like he made some contact on the receiver trying to make the grab. And Ben Canty, one of the captains of this Whitman side.
These teams are playing tight person-to-person defense. We've seen 2 turnovers back-to-back just now on lots of contested play by these defenses, getting up in the end zone from Whitman. And now Williams, shoulder to shoulder contact. We'll see what the observers call.
A lot of stop and go in this first point here, Jimmy, to get things started on this stream. We thank you for tuning in once again to Ultiworld's live coverage of the Division III College Championships. Canty zipping it forward. Ziegler hits Daringer for the grab, and Nico Daringer, you're gonna hear that name a lot, but I stand corrected because there is a call. So this offense really gumming up for both sides with some of these calls.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what adjustments Whitman's going to make throughout the game about how much pressure is going to be on every single one of those unders.
Okay, so if you want to leave the contest, it's going to go back to the previous thrower. You want to send it? Okay, observer ruling. I couldn't see it, so it's going to be contested, so we are going to have to come back. All right. Who had the disc before? Yep, thank you.
Elon Ziegler is going to keep the disc right now, being marked by Kiva Zimmerman. Offensive foul called here as we hear from the PA system. Still 0-0. First offensive point for Whitman. They had a first row turnover, able to get it back. And now back out here on offense. Zipping up the line. That was Max Fleming. Couple of fakes and finds. Now I can say Daringer gets the score.
I will say, Whitman had that first throw turnover to start the point, throwing it into that flash poach, but as soon as they were able to get a little bit of flow momentum going downfield, they were able to run through all of those contested Ds and eventually work it all the way up on that fore side. Ended up being a score that I feel like they can feel very composed about.
Now let's take a look at this Williams side. We talked earlier about their win over Middlebury earlier in the season. This came at a tournament called No Sleep Till Brooklyn. They also defeated Bates Orange Whip in that same tournament. Took them down in the semis before falling to Middlebury in the regional final. So this team is battle tested. They've been live streamed before, so they know some of the ebbs and flows of a live stream game. You know, fans, family watching at home as we get a look at Danny Klein and the rest of this offensive line. David Kimberly is out there as well, left on your screen. Nicholas Bowman beside both Klein and Kimberly. Wade Buckite, another player to watch out for, as well as Reese Overholt, who's a tall receiver that can make things happen for this Williams side.
Pole goes off, and the Williams O-line is going to be taking the disc from the brick mark. That is Danny Klein. We talked about him earlier. He is their guy. He has all the throws in his bag as he makes his trot over to the brick mark.
Methodical offensive weapon, I'm going to call him that, Danny Klein, because on the stream last year, he was tearing up defenses with his throws. You give him one throw, let's say the backhand, he's going to throw that, then he can switch it to the flick as well. So he's got an arsenal as the disc now over to Overholt. Southpaw shovels it over to the aforementioned Klein on this close sideline now. Little pitch and catch with Overholt. Klein looking to the end zone, and that's a pretty smooth O point for this Williams side. Adam Cohn with the grab.
The reason why that point was so smooth was because they immediately started with flow headed toward that break side of the field. The mark is trying to take away that flick side. Danny Klein immediately throws that inside flick, and they're able to start the flow, and then they have the entire open side to work this back there and get open at that front cone.
What a contrast of first two offensive points, right? Because we had a lot of stop and go, a couple turnover apiece on that first point, and then this one, William just works it right in.
Yeah, we'll see if that contrast stays consistent throughout the tournament. We'll see if that's what Williams' plan is on defense, is to try to get Whitman to stop over and over and over again, get them out of their rhythm a little bit. But that Williams O point, that looks very much in rhythm.
Will Savage, the coach here at Williams, giving some final instructions. And Williams also known for their cheers. You may hear it in the background there. A lot of different ones. Makes what we call the People's Division the fun place to be. So the People's Division, you're watching it right now here on Ultiworld. thank you for tuning in. Charlie Tannum, set to pull. Second runner-up last year for Defensive Player of the Year voting. And going to be a big defensive force for this team. Monahan finding Canty, and now things starting to move. I'd like to see that flow a little bit more from this Whitman side. Daringer getting it over, and as I say that, a drop. Win perhaps picking up just a little bit, but in and out of the hands of Max Fleming.
Definitely looks gusty. Looked like that picked up at the very last second, made the clap catch that much harder to catch.
Suvaya needs a reset. A little dancing around here from McBain. Does get the disc now. A D-line handler for this team. Finding Tannum. Tannum going across the field. That throw had a little movement to it as well, but the receiver picks it up clean. And Leo Gentile gets the score, and Williams gets the break.
A little bit dicey on that reset. The Whitman defender keeping his feet very disciplined, not getting his feet turned around, crossing over. But if you stay with your reset just enough, they will end up getting open at some point, and that allows you to flow it back all the way to the other side of the field.
Let the young players watch at home. Stick with your reset if you're the thrower. Let your reset handler get open. Give them as many stalls as possible. If it does stall out, well, I guess it's on you, the handler. They're not getting open, but you got to stick with it. It's so hard to defend someone for 10 stalls just anywhere on the field.
And you want to look somewhere else if you are that thrower. You want to be like, oh, my guy's not open. I have to look for my next option. But if you stay with them, you trust them, you throw out to space, it's going to get hit.
Hey, great shot right there of the Volunteers. Thank you to all the people in blue right now. The Volunteers giving of their time from the Milwaukee Ultimate community to make this tournament happen. I know all of them can't hear me right now, but a big shout out goes to you. Thank you all for your help this weekend. Now returning to the action here, Fleming had the drop earlier, hoping to redeem himself a little bit on offense. We heard Williams might go a little bit zony, but it's been strictly person right now so far from their defensive line.
And I think that makes sense. They've been putting a lot of pressure on every single one of these unders. So keep putting the pressure on. Make them work the disc.
Ziegler's throw going to float up, but stayed with it. Good focus from Daringer. Now flipping it in for the score. Daringer gets an assist now, hitting Elon Ziegler.
We talked about rhythm earlier. That was the rhythm that Whitman needs. They were able to get a few strike cuts going up the line, getting their momentum going downfield. It's always putting the defense on their heels if we are constantly allowing ourselves to dish the disc upfield, look for different opportunities and angles of attack.
I like that some of them got the last names on the jerseys, some of them got the nicknames on the jerseys, so you don't know which is what. Legs out here. Ziegler, that's his nickname, it looks like. Or L-E-G-S, maybe that stands for something else, I don't know. So now Williams, your first offensive point was super clean. Super clean. No real defensive pressure that I saw. And for Whitman, Kai Kirsch is on the line, number 33. He's going to be a big part, especially roaming around the deep space. Perhaps he's going to draw that Overholt matchup just to have the big on big. We'll see what they decide to do here, at least on this point. Klein looking for a teammate, but it's a little too far there. Kendall trying to make the grab. And so that first offensive point was smooth, and now it's a turnover. Klein on the mark. As a shifty thrower himself, I'm sure he makes a good mark because he knows where to place his hands and feet, trying to make things difficult for the other side. A couple close throws, but they're still in possession right now as this Whitman squad. Henry Curry now needs a reset. Gets it around, finding Lauhan. Daringer having crossed over. He's going to air this out. And good pressure there from Bowman is going to prevent that throw from being completed.
Going upwind a little bit, that disc is going to turn over in the air, dying as it's coming down. You need to put that little extra amount of inside-out edge to make sure it carries out all the way into the back of the end zone, giving your receiver the space.
Looking deep. Lots of players in the area. Kendall almost got there. There were 3 Whitman players that peeled off, basically, and he still almost had a chance.
The Whitman defenders know that Klein has the disc, especially so close to their end zone. He wants to get it out of there, get some yards per turnover, and wow, look at that. Getting up for the D and an immediate stoppage.
That was nasty. That was Wade Buckite with the block there. Just jumping up and snagging that one out of the air. Some discussion now with Klein and Colin Pfister, another offensive player who has crossed over here for Whitman. For both teams, we mentioned this being 2-0, 2-0. This is their final game of the day, so they can go a little more crossover heavy than compared to maybe the first game of the day.
Yeah, you allow yourselves to put yourself in a position to win a game. This is the 4 seed versus the 5 seed. These are 2 very, very strong teams. These are the quality level of teams that you are going to be needing to see in the bracket. You might as well get those reps against those impressive teams right now and give yourself the confidence going in to the bracket play.
Buckeye made the grab earlier on defense and now making the possession-saving grab as well. Woolman finding Klein. Klein always has that flick loaded up. Could go inside with it for a break or just huck it as well. Kendall, one of the captains of this team. Resetting it. Just going to settle back into Klein. A break side pass. A drop there from the right hand of Bowman.
They're really looking to shoot it inside that flat sideline. That's just a little bit too fast, too hard to corral, I should say.
Whitman needs a reset of some sort. Slashing through was Hahn. And Hahn's throw going to sail out, so a few turnovers apiece right now for both teams.
The least clean point we've seen so far. These teams need to allow themselves to breathe, know where they are in the game, collect themselves, get the disc in the players that are going to make the plays. Still working that flat sideline.
That player is Klein, as he just the little pitch and throw with, or pitch and catch, I should say, with Overholt. And now he's going to keep going down the sideline. And that's the 4th turnover for Williams on this point alone.
A little reminiscent of the truck stop O-line right there, using those Oyo forehands to that break side, working that flat side the entire way up, working the give and goes.
That's a new meta. I always say it to people. It's that new throw, the inside line, but with the outside edge. It can be difficult at receiver if you don't know what's coming, but you got to be ready for it now. Everyone's doing it, especially in the college level. I see it everywhere. Daringer now. Had a huck earlier that was a little too far for his teammate. Nice snag to keep things alive, though, from Frauchi. Airing this out. Kirsch is in the area versus Overholt. Some help coming from Buckeye getting the block. We talked about Overholt versus Kirsch. We saw that matchup right there.
We see that matchup, but if there's 2 versus 1, then that matchup is going to go to the numbers-dominated team.
Lots of space, real estate here for Bowman. Bowman about 5 yards away, dishing it back to Klein. Cheeky throw from Klein. A player is down on the field, though. And look at the spirit of the game right here, Danny Klein. Not just throwing discs, but also helping players.
Yeah, you'll love to see that. Hopefully it's just a cramp. He's able to pick himself back up.
I believe that's Cooper Anderson who came up there.
Okay.
It's just about whether it happened
yeah.
before I threw it or if it was after I threw it.
Yeah. Do you have perspective on that?
So it comes back to me?
Yeah. If the call was made before the throw, it'll go back to that last throw.
How about when the call gets thrown in, it happens, correct? Yeah, if he calls it right away, then it's about when the injury happens.
didn't say
Which,
anything.
well, okay, yeah, okay. You know, he's on the ground, so yeah, we'll say it's when the injury happened.
You had an injury called before that throw. Getting Klein with the disc outside of the end zone.
Jasper Brown coming in the stead of Anderson. I do hear what Klein is saying about when the injury was called, but when you're down, sometimes you just can't call injury right away. You're going, my leg. Klein was looking for a teammate. Can he save it? He cannot, so it's a turnover, the 5th one for WUFO. Adam Cohn was the intended target.
A little trip up from Cone there, but if he was able to stay on his feet, that was going to be a nasty move.
We have a couple of rookies on this O-line too, Williams, so I'd like to get them that experience. Zipping it deep. Kirsch is there, so is Overholt. Multiple people. And Overholt will make sure this doesn't have any chance in bounds. Kirsch, Overholt. I can't wait to see that all game. That's going to be fun.
You mentioned the rookies that are on Williams' O-line. Adam Cohn, U20 tryout invitee. He is somebody that is going to be the future of this program. It's such a privilege to be able to have such young talent on your team that are already coming into college, into D3 with that experience. That's going to be a name to remember for years down the line.
Yeah, stand up Albany, New York. Played for an open team called Alibi. So upstate New York, stand up. Because Adam Cohn is one of your own out here making plays. Rookie, as you mentioned. He almost saved that one too. He stumbled and almost still had a chance at that grab.
It's got heart.
Tandem has come in here on this offensive point after that injury sub, and he's going to look for the disc right now. He almost got up there, but great pressure preventing that one. Klein, did he get the block clean? That's what he's going to argue here.
I'm pretty sure that I okay. I just felt like I had 2 hands around it. Okay, I'm gonna go to the observer.
Okay, coming to the observer. There's not a strip foul, so it's gonna be, turn over here, just tap the ground live. Yep, thank you.
6 turnovers apiece. A lot of mileage on these legs right now. Klein going around. Finds Reed Kendall for the grab, a spike to punctuate that point. That was a long one. 6 turnovers apiece. Klein gets his 2nd assist of the game. Williams finally gets the hold, but a lot of gas was poured out in that one.
Yeah, time for Williams to go back into the shade tent, have a conversation, talk about what worked, what didn't work, figure out what they need to accomplish to make sure that they have more sustainable O points. That is going to be a tough thing to do if they're turning the disc over 3 times, 4 times later in the game.
Body blows. You know, I'm going to use a boxer analogy here. Body blows, or you're just slowly weakening your opponent if you're Whitman. Chipping away the offensive line, making them play a lot of possessions there. You had Derringer crossover, that is true. You had another offensive piece crossover in Pfister, but you have most of your O-line resting. So that is hopefully going to help you out, especially in this next point and in the few points to come the rest of this game.
Yeah, we saw a little choppy play from the Whitman O-line early in the game too. Maybe that was their opportunity for them to go inside the shade tent, have that conversation, and now they're going to come out. Let's see if they're able to keep the clean holds going.
That pole going out of bounds. Don't let Jasper Brown's friends know he muffed the pole there out of bounds. Don't let them know. He'll never hear the end of it. Brody Monahan from Seattle. Gonna get things going here. Whitman in Walla Walla, Washington. And down he goes. It's hot out there. I was down in the field complex earlier today, checking out a few different games, and it is quite hot now as players drop to the ground. So we wait to see how Monahan's doing.
Not sure if this is cramping or if on the way up he might have gotten a cleat to that ankle.
It sounds like you're saying you're. Okay, yeah. So we have a foul, no contest. Yeah, we can just. Whoever's coming in will take possession of it. We have a white sub. Dark, you can take one if you want. You are just taking the disc.
Pfister coming into the game.
Possession will stay in the Sweets.
We'll tap it in at the disc. All right, I think we're ready. All right, coming in on one.
Pfister to put the disc in play after the substitution.
Great grab to keep things alive is Canty. Disc still on this close sideline with Siegler. The lefty gets it around. And Tannum just attacks the disc quicker than his opponent. Like a thief in the night sneaking through.
We've seen a couple of those exact same Ds from Williams now. Whitman's going to have to start running all the way through these discs, making sure that they get there before Williams is able to just have a pretty easy clap catch.
Nice jukes there from McBain. We've seen him quarterback this defensive line with Subaya. But a turnover will give the disc right back to Whitman. A couple of drops from both sides here, perhaps the nerves of that 4-5 big-time pool matchup. Derringer finding Wade Nichols with a pretty throw. And Whitman gets the hold.
Yeah, that throw is exactly what it needed to be. It was out to space, but it wasn't too blady for the receiver not to have a chance to have an easy opportunity to just clap catch the disc. Two turns per team that point, ending with a hold for Whitman.
Nice to see Cooper Anderson back out on the field. He got hurt earlier on a point that Klein thought that he threw the assist for, going left to right on your screen, and now going right to left on your screen, Anderson will be pulling.
We have yet to see a break in this game.
Yet to see a break for Whitman. They have yet to take down this Williams offense. Williams got a break a little bit earlier in the game. Blinking, you might have missed it. But we thank you again for tuning in. More action to come. We got Oklahoma Christian and Richmond too, so more action this whole weekend, folks. Buckeye now has an open Danny Klein. Can't leave him unmarked for that long. And this is why, as he launches this out for Reese Overholt, that is way too easy. And he told me he was going to do that before the game. The limp one celebration from Danny Klein as Overholt getting excited as well. That is simply too easy for Williams.
You know Danny Klein's going to shoot it. We need to have Marks flashing into that lane. Completely unmarked there from Danny Klein. Had as much comfortable space to make that throw happen. And that is to their most comfortable receiver, too, in Overholt. So we were talking about that Overholt and in the matchup between him and Kai Kirsch. Overholt getting the best of that one, finding the space in the end zone.
Playing for the mixed team Crown Peach out of Atlanta, Georgia. Throw a little knowledge out there, club knowledge for you folks at home.
So you got plenty of players with experience in club, experience in YCC, trying out for these U20 teams. D3 is getting a little deeper nowadays.
And Danny Klein crossing over from D to D. He was a second team All-American last year and too casual on that first pass. We saw Whitman get burned on the first point of the game. They did get that hold, but now they could be broken here with Klein now with the disc. And they're just waiting for the signal. It is a goal. Williams gets the break. Klein finds his target. He crosses over, and first row finds Kiva Zimmerman for the grab. And that is devastating for Whitman early on in this game.
You see a couple players on Whitman with their heads down right now. Kai Kirsch is doing all he can to lift up his teammates, let them know that this game is still early. Yes, it's not ideal to have these turnovers so casual, but that's why you take a timeout. I feel like that's what is happening right here. Yeah, a timeout has been called. You talk about it. You remind each other of the fundamentals. You get back out there next point. Nothing you can do about the past.
So throw on the Jimmy. I know you do coaching on the side out here. Besides being a commentator, you do some coaching. So Whitman huddle. What are you saying right now? You've seen a couple of first row turnovers. That first offensive point and just recently. What are you saying to the team?
I want us to focus on trying to find flow from the very beginning of the point and allowing yourself to just make the easy throws. And yes, when there is just hitting the easy throws, that's when it can get casual. But every throw matters just as much as the little dishes, the dumps, and that matters just as much as the hucks. Like anything can be a turnover. We got to lock on every single throw.
Whitman trying to regroup here. And folks, we just want to let you know, if you're enjoying this coverage, you got to get more of it. Go to ultiworld.com/live. You can check out the event packs, what subscriptions you need to catch in all the action, not just here at D3 here in Milwaukee, but a week from now in Madison D1 as well. Ultiworld has you covered. More streams on D3 than ever before. Go to ultiworld.com/live to pick up your pack today. We'll see you on the other side there.
I believe it's 25 total streams this weekend for Ultiworld streaming.
Come on.
Most all time.
Come on. For D3. For D3, we love it out here. The People's Division TM. People's Division TM right here. Williams back out on defense, and Tandem's out there, Buckite, but Danny Klein as well. We've said his name a lot. Well, he's thrown a lot of assists, folks. 4 of the 5 scores have been assisted by Danny Klein.
Well, when last point was as easy as it was for Danny, he can afford to put himself back out there again.
You're treading into this dangerous 3-point deficit territory I like to talk about if you're Whitman. Got to really clamp down here on this offensive point, and that movement's going to help. Nichols now. Feathers it over to Canty. Nice little backhand under the Mark's arm to Deringer. Deringer now. Marked by Klein. Couple teammates there. It's going to be Ziegler who will receive it, and then Ziegler will dish it off to Monahan. That timeout was key, and it works out for them.
A little lefty backhand action there for the score. But yeah, what worked really well for them, just like earlier in the game, working that break side. You see a break right there in the screen, getting it past the mark, and then flowing all the way horizontally across the field and flowing in with a nice lefty backhand.
So this Whitman team, we talked about it earlier. They were the number 4 seed a year ago. They went 0-3 in pool play. And immediately on that first day, they're out of title contention, bracket contention. That's a big shock to your system. But they've really tried to adjust things this year and kind of turn things around for the better.
Well, they were saying they wanted to take it one season at a time. Last year's in the past. What they've built this year is an entirely new experience. And with this experience, they had a really successful regular season, only losing 1 game to a team that ended up beating again later in the season. They know that they can beat anyone. It's just a matter of putting in the mentality, fixing the fundamental mistakes. Deep pull there.
I would like to see the defense get down a little bit faster if you're a Whitman fan. Klein finds Kendall. Klein has Buckhead as the reset right now. And he's going to launch it, a little inside-out edge, and that inside-out edge is going to go right into the sideline.
That was not a little inside-out edge. That was a lot of inside-out edge.
Yeah, perhaps he thought it was going to be a little, and then it just became a lot. A gargantuan amount of inside edge here. Brown needs something. Finds Pfister. Now Kirsch. High stall count. Gonna have to get rid of it. Looking for Anderson, a big body out here from Kendall. There's got to be something called there. No real options there for Whitman.
I just felt, yeah, no, I know it's just like, they're just both following the disc. It didn't feel like there was a lot of like unwarranted contact, but I just felt like my feet got, like you kind of, it was 50-50. I would have a follow. Because you were trying to angle onto the disc coming back versus me just like running straight. If you, I would contest it, or we could go to the observer. Can we go to the, yeah.
Okay, so coming to the observer, I'm going to rule it's not a foul just because it was so far out of bounds.
Sounds good.
Okay, yep, so not.
And that's a tough position to be in as a thrower.
You can walk it up, all right?
When you're on that sideline and your hips and your body are positioned away from the middle of the field, you're looking toward the sideline, you're not able to see all the information that you can see to see where your open targets are. You're looking at the sideline. All the information is on the field the other way. I would like him to turn his hips open, look at the middle of the field.
Seemingly not a lot of options there for Lyle Hahn. Cohen back to Klein here as they advance past midfield. Nice little move from Buckheit as he zips it forward. Klein now, doorstep, Overholt, score.
I really liked the motor that Danny Klein showed on that point. He showed that he can not just do it with his throws, but he can also do it with his legs. Throwing forehands, immediately getting it back in his hands, working up the line, putting on some moves with his footwork.
Folks, you say, hey, we're talking a lot about Danny Klein. He's got 5 assists. He's dialing it up for this Williams side. 5 of 6 points have been thrown by number 41. Fingerprints all over this contest right now. Doing it with some short, quick, and go movement. Can do it with the huts when he was unmarked like that. He's been doing it all for this WUFO squad.
There's absolutely a reason why we are talking about this man.
On another planet right now, truthfully. Cannot be stopped, and maybe they put someone else on him, try to switch up the force, maybe deny him in the backfield, push him downfield perhaps. Those are maybe some of your options if you're Whitman.
All great adjustments to make. At some point you gotta realize he is kind of taking control of the game. You need to do something different, get him out of his comfort zone in some capacity. Right now he looks like he's in his comfort zone on the sideline though, cheering on his team.
Doing it all with a smile on his face, and that's Williams. They're known for having fun out here, and that's why we love having them on this stream and the others that are happening currently as well. Bringing a lot of action to your living room or wherever you're watching. They did say they might go a little zone look, and we see that right here, Jimmy.
A new look for Whitman to try to figure out. Whitman's probably been having their conversations about what they need to accomplish against their really tight person-to-person, but this zone gives something, a new dynamic, especially going upwind.
Snuck it through to Canty, but that was not without some pressure, though. This throw is going to be caught. Siegler working over to Nichols. Soren Stevens getting some burnout here on the offensive line, number 13 in white, with a couple of fakes now and resetting it over to Canty. Canty, a local Walla Walla product. Siegler, nice inside shot. There's got to be a pick here if Canty's that open, I have to think.
And a pick is what it is. We'll go back to Ziegler.
Are we good right here? Okay, cool. We're good.
Siegler, an all-region honorable mention, as that throw goes over to Daringer. Daringer is a righty, but gonna go with the lefty backhand, finding Canty for the grab.
Showing his ambidextrous chops there. And honestly, as Williams, I think that could have been a successful D point. Yes, they ended up conceding the hold. However, there was a scooper that happened in the middle of that point that floated up, and Williams really had an opportunity to get that block, to get that turnover, and they fell just short of getting that, but the opportunity was there. So now, every time the Whitman O-line has to go out to the line, they have to at least have it in their mind, oh, we could go against this zone. So we have to have a plan for that just in case it happens.
(5-6) the scoreline right now. Williams started out on defense, so they received the disc in the second half. So in the driver's seat right now, at least. But lots of game left. We saw a couple points, especially that first offensive point, being really stop and go here. And both teams try to get into their flow on offense as Cooper Anderson set to get things going on this defensive possession or defensive point. Jasper Brown out there, Kai Kirsch among others. Vertical stack out here for Williams. Nice break around to get things going. Buckeye now. Clyde getting it back from Kendall. Anderson really up in the grill of Klein right now. Said they have to change something different, so maybe just trying to make things a little bit more difficult. Klein gonna throw and go here. Great fake from Buckeye. Opens that. Kirsch laying out. Comes up empty. Now Overholt's free. Overholt dishing it, and Kirsch almost got back in his momentum. Taking out Nichols there. Don't think that was intentional. You can see that he was very apologetic. Excuse me, that's Bowman on the ground.
I'm trying as hard as I can to stop.
Yellow card.
Yeah, if you don't have enough space, then that means you had to have slowed down sooner.
Whitman definitely.
It's a goal.
Upping the physicality of that last point. We saw a little chest bumping into Danny Klein. However, that allowed Danny Klein to create a little bit more separation once that separation was able to begin. Once you get beat when you're doing hard physical person-to-person defense, then it's hard to catch back up. And we also saw Kai Kirsch laying out there, and we were able to see Williams really punish the bids. You see your guy on the ground, you run away from your guy. Go the other way.
Bowman caught the goal, but going to come up nursing a, looks like, right leg injury there. The Williams Ultimate Frisbee Organization. Put that in your trivia if you knew what WUFO stood for.
Looks like they got a bull on their jerseys as well. Wonder if that's a mascot of some sort for them. spirit animal.
Well, we talked about Middlebury earlier with their coach of the Swans, so
True.
every team's got something different out here. Looking at this Whitman O-line, some of them heads down, but before that point, they were smiling and laughing and just kind of keep things light. That's what you're going to have to do here down 7-5. It is a little bit of that tipping point of a contest. It's 7-5. Williams could break for half to go up 3, and also on top of that come out on 0 in the second half. So this is actually a pretty big point for them. They do have a timeout if they need, if they get stuck. Must score if I'm a Whitman fan in the audience. Klein out here, Tannum. Kendall as well has crossed over. Overholt hovering in the deep space. So they're really powering up this D-line to try to break for half. Derringer has other ideas as he has the disc right now. That throw was dangerous as it will be tipped away by Kendall. Once again, a little bit too casual from the Sweets right now. Klein. Kendall looking for bookends. Toes the line. And Williams takes half.
Phenomenal concentration by Reed Kendall there, making sure that catch stayed in bounds, keeping his toes just on the inside of that yellow line.
Fourth year on the team, making an impact. Looked like his check as well fell down. Believe that was Monahan. And he was kind of just open free there. So we really only see him in the frame. But like you mentioned, great concentration, and that concentration has led to the 8-5 advantage they have currently. Williams has been feeling good. Reed Kendall, a block, 2 goals, and has been a key part of their success so far.
Another person key to their success. Who threw that last assist? No other but Danny Klein. Just one in the many.
Right now, it's halftime in this contest. Pool D action. Williams is up 8-5. Second half action coming at you. Pool D here in the men's division at the 2024 Division III College Championships. Theo Wan here with Jimmy Childwin. Whitman Sweets in white down at half 8-5. The team from Walla Walla, Washington needs to find an answer right now for one, not just one person, because a couple of people have been burning them, but really on the stat sheet it's been number 41, Danny Klein. Jimmy, can they stop number 41? What do they have to do right now?
Well, Theo, that's a tough question because right now he looks unstoppable. However, there are some adjustments that you can make. First of them, I think you mentioned it a little bit earlier, start to force him to go downfield. Take away his reset from the negative space, push him into that downfield space, make him be a cutter.
And there's a turnover right there. They need to cash right in here to try to get this deficit within 2, especially starting out on defense in this half. Hahn finding Ziegler, who's crossed over. Oh, excuse me, that's Cooper Anderson. Anderson finding Hahn, or Pfister, excuse me. Pfister looking for his target, but not going to work out.
Klein coughed one up. he allowed them to have that red zone opportunity.
Is he going to cough up 2 in this point? That's what Whitman is hoping for. But we heard that Tandem might cross over on offense, and we see that right now. Klein's throw is knocked away by Kirsch. Ty Kirsch, long arms getting in the way. Fresh from Denmark, I've been told, right?
Came back into the States just yesterday, coming into the States and then immediately going to nationals. He's ready for the moment.
Jasper Brown trying to get free, but great defense there from Bowman, who had gone down earlier, so great to see him back on the field as well. But Brown can't reel that one in, and 2 turnovers apiece to start this half. Sometimes the break doesn't actually help certain teams because they're just so in the flow, right? And that's a second turnover from Danny Klein, kind of unmitigated, unforced there.
I'm not sure what's messing up his calibration right now, whether that's the wind, whether that's the offensive looks that he's trying to go for, if there's a lack of connection. But now this is the 3rd break opportunity, and Danny Klein gets it back.
Tandem now, turn and burn with the throw. Kendall, end zone line. Score to Bowman. That was their chance. That was their chance.
It was their chance, and I see some body language looking down toward the turf. You got to get those chins up. You got to move on to the next. Even the players that weren't on the field. Yeah.
Yeah, the body language not looking great. I'm no body language expert, but I can just see that they're a bit deflated. They had 3 chances and denied 3 times, some of them due to their own peril or own error, and some of them due to some blocks or Klein getting one back. But that's absolutely backbreaking if you're Whitman. You had a chance to break out of half to bring this game within 2, and now it's a 4-point deficit. Love the celly as well from Bowman.
They're all getting in the frame there.
Have fun out there. You're playing Ultimate in the sunny skies of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Why not enjoy what you're doing?
Yeah, again, we're at D3 Nationals here, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, just like you said. Like, this is a time to make some memories with your teammates. Even if things aren't going your way, go out there, try your best, have as much fun as you can, enjoy the moment.
What I really liked from Tandem there on that throw was he had caught it and immediately trusted that a teammate in Kendall was out there in space. He gets what we call the hockey assist, or the second assist. But really, he made that happen after getting that underthrow. Monahan. Near block there. Christopher Brown was coming through. Deringer has a few assists in this game, but been a little bit more quiet than I think we would have liked to see from this Whitman squad, or for this Whitman squad. Monahan, a couple fakes. Now back over to 22 and Deringer. Deringer trying to shake free, but instead it's an inside shot to Monahan. Has a receiver going deep. Williams really putting the body on the line here. Wouldn't know that they're up 9-5. It looks like almost a universe point D, the way that everyone's just flying for the disc. Nichols almost had it, but swatted away by good measure, for good measure by Williams. But there's some discussion to be had.
Injury stoppage.
Injury stoppage on the field. You mentioned the defensive pressure that Williams was putting on that point. At some point, the pressure gets to the offense, even without a block.
Christian's over to Woodville on the speed turnover.
Looking deep, crossing over was Klein. Looking for Tandem, and the speedster can't get that one in. Kirsch was in coverage there. Kirsch normally guarding Overholt, but Overholt not on this point.
You like your chances with Kirsch being back there in the deep space.
Win a little swirly. As we see this throw hang up. Kirsch, the tallest in the area, will scoop it up strong with 2 hands and then just throw it away there. Looks like Ziegler wasn't ready for it. And if I was going to say, Jimmy, if that had gone in for a score, that would have been real backbreaking, getting doubled up. But now they get a reprieve, at least momentarily.
Needing the work to disc up 70 yards right here. Going into the wind. Starting to pick up, starting to swirl. We're going to need to see some snappy releases, getting the spin on the disc, making sure that it's getting corralled right in the breadbasket.
Dinger gets it, throw and go a little bit here. The all-region player from the Northwest. Nice move from Monahan to get free. Monahan was part of that Whitman team that we have mentioned already that went 0-3 in pool play. So they're looking to exercise those demons out here. And of course, they said this before the game, they've already advanced farther than last year, so they're feeling good about that. They know what happened when they were the 4 seed a year ago. Ziegler, this one's gonna float for Nichols. Nichols, you gotta celebrate that because that was a sweet grab. Getting up high over the defender, and that's what Whitman needs energy-wise.
Yeah, you saw them making plays in the backfield, maybe digging a couple out from the turf in these resets and in these swings, but making the big play downfield, that is going to be the energizer that this team needs. Bring them back in this game. We are at the time where you decide what you want to do with the rest of your game. Do you want to really make that push, bring it back in, put pressure on Williams, tie this game back up, go ahead in the game possibly? I think that answers that question for them. They want to get back in this game. They are here ready to play. They are at Nationals, just like we said.
Pfister out there and Jasper Brown, as well as Kai Kirsch, who's been a staple on the defensive line here. Little flick pull action. We'll land on the Williams side of the field. Disc center to Wade Buckeye. Quick little break side movement. Over to Cone, and Cone's reset too far. And we said it already before when they had this opportunity on that first defensive point out of half. But this is really must score here. And knocked away from Bowman. By Bowman, excuse me. Still a full field to work with here. Klein finding Cone. Cone being a little more sure-handed here with that throw. Klein against Pfister. Klein slowing things down, surveying. Nice little inside shot. Kendall gonna hang this one up. And Williams gives it back, but Whitman does have the full 70 to work here. Kai Lamote was the intended receiver, the rookie.
Both teams with personnel right now that are getting tired on this point. It's a longer point, one of the longer points of the day.
A lot of mileage starting to pile up on these legs here. Henry Curry needs something. Finds Pfister. Klein trailing along here. An injury called. Had a few of those this game. Got to make sure you stock up on those electrolytes out there.
Yeah, we talk about the mileage, that this is a direct result of that mileage. Putting wear and tear on these bodies. Thankfully, it's the last game of the day. They'll be able to go back to wherever they're staying tonight, get some rest.
It's like when you put like a lot of mileage on your car. Let's say you got a Toyota Corolla or something, or Honda Civic, and you just like drive it for a long time. It's not going to work the same, right? It's going to be the same as these players' legs out here. And that throw not going to work out. That was Fracci trying to make the grab.
There's that flick give and go from Klein.
Want to see that continue momentum. He has the disc, then he holsters it for a bit. He's going to try it again here with Overholt. Does get it back. Got to respect that inside flick. What? Just moves from Danny Klein. Silky smooth, finding Adam Cohn.
Danny Klein right now is making a case not just for...
Oh, I want to hear this. You're talking player of the year discussion. Is that what you're saying?
He's in the discussion. There's a few, as we see right here, a turn from Adam Cohn. Danny Klein is taking over this game right now. He is this entire team. He was working that flat side, getting it back in his hands. Wizardry with the fakes.
Ooh, I like that. Wizardry.
Wizardry. The disc is his wand.
Danny Klein, you are now Danny the Wizard Klein. You've just been coined that name. You don't have a choice now. You're Danny the Wizard. So.
But back to the player of the year discussion. I know there's a few huge names within this tournament right now, but who else is showing this kind of most valuable player impact?
Oh, I mean, a lot of people are going to say one name, and that's Will Brandt. I know people are going to shout out that name for sure. There was some discussion about him on Reddit at some point about him being the D3 GOAT or something. I saw that. So
I myself have coached against Will Brandt a few times now. So
how do you, just like how you want to stop Danny Klein, how do you stop Will Brandt?
It's tough. It's tough out here.
Williams trying to stop Whitman with a zone look here. We've seen this a few times now, mixing it up. I like that, keeping the offense on the toes here. But they are working with some pace. Over to Nichols. Canty had taken an injury sub earlier, back out on the field. And a nice layout block. Buckeye crossing over, making an impact right away. Tannum saves things. Shuffles it over. Crossfield, McBain. A little ambitious there. I like the idea, but just a little too much edge, and that's going to go out of bounds.
Just back to Sweets on the turnover.
See McBain try to go with that around back, and it's often open because everyone's shuffling to that open side. But that one not going to work out, but allows them to set the zone in that coffin corner.
Yeah, let's see how they're able to get this reset off. They got one off. Let's see if they're able to continue it now.
There's a lot of contact there. That was Kiva Zimmerman, the Oakland, California product.
That's the kind of penetration you want to get up through the middle in that zone. A little bit too much contact, though.
Zimmerman playing YCCs out in Oakland. So you mentioned some of that YCC experience. We're seeing a lot of that here on the field.
I have a.
Canty, the intended receiver. Already nursing a left shoulder, as I said. And he'll keep possession. Buckeye looks like he's going to set the mark here. Or perhaps he'll defer to a teammate and reset the stall count. Max Fleming to his right for Canty. Buckeye gets the block and immediately calls a timeout. Veteran move from Wade Buckeye. See, tempers maybe rising a little bit. Energy is high, so just call a timeout to settle the squad. You're up 10-6. And really try to punctuate this Pool D matchup, get that bye into the quarters. I like that call from Wade Buckeye.
Yeah, they got their hand in the cookie jar, were able to tip the disc, clap catch it, looked a little frantic right after that, so they calmed themselves down.
We've talked a bit about Danny Klein, but let's talk about number 29, Wade Buckeye. He got up for that block earlier. See him there as a help defender. And he's been doing it both on offense and, of course, defense. He's crossed over. So he's done a little bit of both. He is an anchor on their O-line, but can also come over to D-line as well.
Yeah, and Theo, you mentioned the experience that people are getting from YCC, and we talked earlier about Adam Cohn being on the U20 team and getting all his club experience. D3 is a different game now. It used to be all these D3 players, they are exploring this game and figuring it out and learning about it as soon as they get to college. Now we have people committing a lot of time and a lot of energy into developing themselves for these moments.
Buckeyes played for a YCC program. You may have heard of Triforce out of the Chapel Hill, North Carolina area. I think maybe some people have heard of that program. He went to East Chapel Hill High School as well, so had a lot of pedigree out here for this Williams side. Out of Williamstown, Massachusetts. A little nice around backhand. Tanum, one-handed, can't get it. Perhaps anticipating the disc going one way. Then, of course, it goes into the turf, though. This zone look has caused a lot of fits for this Whitman offense. They get one look, and then they can't continue it here.
Yeah. They need to find that space exactly where he just fakes right there before that zone gets set up.
Monahan zips it through, but once again, no continue, at least for right now. That allows that cup to set. A lot of players right around the disc here. There was no one even near midfield right now. Deringer picking it up. Blady throw, scooping it with the left hand. Stirring the pot and resetting the disc. Perhaps a little too fast again. Lyle Hahn. And now Buckeye called the timeout earlier. Probably not going to call one here. Going to go elevator backhand to Charlie Tanum. Doing it in style right there is Wade Buckeye.
Break throws out to space in the end zone in that isolated front part of that end zone, front line of the end zone. Very, very difficult to guard unless you have help defense on that break side.
What I like there too is he threw the angled backhand earlier that just went into the turf and evaded Tanum's hand, but instead he goes with elevator, throws a little bit down, knowing the wind situation. Worked out for them there, and that's a key adjustment. And you mentioned, we've talked about the YCC experience, but that becomes paramount in these moments. And we see right there, he made the adjustment as a thrower to help Tanum the second time around.
Especially going downwind, the disc is going to drop really fast. Having that too much edge on that disc, it's going to be very difficult to read. If you just pop it up, allow the receiver to be able to run onto it, easy clap catch. Looks like we have another timeout called as the teams are heading back into their shade tents and conversing with themselves.
We've got a timeout on the field. Whitman has taken their first timeout of the second half.
First timeout for Whitman here, and they need it right now, down 11-6. And that zone. Whitman want to see their body language a little positive here. We need a couple plays right now if you're a fan out back in Walla Walla, Washington. Just a sky or a big throw to really amp up the team here and try to force some pressure. By my count, they have not gotten a single break this game. So Williams' offense, albeit hasn't been perfect with clean holds, let's say, has been able to score on offense, and that's what you need to do. See how this Whitman O-line does after that timeout. Monahan going up line now. Looks like person defense. Monahan eventually gets it with the left hand. Over to Nichols. Canty now. Fleming. Little inside backhand. That was a nice throw. Finds Elon Ziegler.
There's a rhythm that Whitman needed to get back on track. They called the timeout. Worked it from the flat side of the field, finding flow downfield.
Williams 11, Whitman 7.
And shooting that inside flick on the right side of the defender, from the defender's point of view.
Get a look at Fleming right here with a nice inside shot earlier. Fleming, a native of Yellow Point, Washington, rookie on this team, making waves on the O-line.
Looking over into the women's division, Pool C, Middlebury, seeded 10th, is looking to get their second upset win of the day over Colorado College. So some drama in Pool C in the women's division. It's currently 10-6 Middlebury over Colorado College. That's a pool to keep an eye on. And a team to keep an eye on going into the bracket.
Yeah, for sure. And when you're three-time defending national champs, you have that moxie. We talked about it on the stream earlier, the first one of the day. They got that first win over McAllister and trying to ride that momentum here.
Peaking at the right time.
You've been there, done that. That's what happens. And now a turnover from Bowman. This is where Whitman needs to cash in. I've said this already. Starting to sound like a broken record with these defensive line points, but get a break or two and you're right back in this contest and you have that momentum. But a hand block. Is that Buckite again? I believe it is. He's been all over defensively. How many blocks does he have?
I can't wait to see that stat because it's got to be up there by now.
He plays offense too, folks. He's been crossing over. But then you got to add a turnover to his name though too. So you add the blocks, but unfortunately a turnover. Jasper Brown now walking it up. This zone has caused some issue, and they're going to run it on their offensive line. I kind of like that as an offensive line. Make the D-line work on this zone O.
I like that too. Usually the O-line is much more comfortable, composed playing against these zones. But for the D-line, with the less experience and the less touches that they get, to be able to have to navigate all 70 yards against this zone on their goal line, it's tough to do.
The defensive line is used to starting on defense in practice. I'm pretty sure of it. So they don't get always this zone O look. But they have navigated over to midfield with Brown sneaking through here, and Kirsch was a part of that as well. Person defense called from the Williams sideline. Coming through is Pfister. Frauci fights Kirsch. A few yards away. Kirsch trying to keep it on that same third, but it's swatted away. And guess who it is? Number 29, Wade Buckite, again with the block.
Getting it back, making up for his turnover on the other end.
Atoning for his sins, some might say, with that turnover. He gets the block. He's got 2 blocks already on this point. Looking for Cone. Cone a few yards away now, has Overholt, has Bowman. It's 3-on-2. And Klein, they just wanted to get Klein the assist. I think that's what it was. They were just waiting for that to settle in and allow Klein to get the assist there.
When Danny Klein is in flow, when he's catching the disc and he is releasing it to his next target, I want to see the timing. I need a stopwatch to be able to see from the time he catches it into the next person's hands. Right now we're taking a look at Wade Buckite. 2 blocks and the goal on this point. He's doing it all for this offense.
Adam Cone with the score here. As they worked a little give-go action. See how fast that is. 8 blocks, I've been told. 4 blocks. 4 blocks at least in this contest. There it is, 4 blocks. It's not just the blocks, though. It's the pressure he's providing. He's been kind of in the middle of that zone. He's jumping up all over the place, making things happen. And I think that's the other thing, too, is you have someone who can play offense and then be a steadying presence on defense as well.
Just rolls out of bounds.
Monahan unmarked. Looks like a pick call downfield.
What do we disagree on?
Heat really starting to pick up in this
I was within
venue.
10
You can
seconds.
see a lot of players on
I
the
had to stop
sideline
because he was
feeling it.
Like, it wasn't.
And
It was like I had to stop.
if you haven't played on turf yet, folks, ever in your career, well, for those who have, you know how hot it gets playing on the turf there, Jimmy.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think
Especially in this Milwaukee climate. Milwaukee's usually known for being that Midwestern wind,
Guys want to
snow.
back, or you want to come to me, or what?
You get those full winters where it gets cold here. But when it gets to that summertime, and it is starting to get to that summer feeling, summer loving,
It gets hot.
it gets hot.
That's what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying.
Canty finding Nichols. Gentile was trying to make the block there. Nice net left hand snag. Elon Ziegler.
Wade Nichols to the end zone. D-line Goyle Ziegler brings it in.
Whitman is not short on the highlight plays. That is for sure.
Williams 12.
They can go up with the best of them. Oh, strong with the left hand there.
First assist for Nichols. He has 2 goals to his name as well. Perhaps that grab and celebration can ignite some of this Whitman defensive line offense, because they have gone turns. It's not that they haven't done that. It's that they haven't been able to convert.
But you do have a car key up here that you probably will put in your pocket. Wisconsin played 5-6-1.
Getting out of the heat, though, is a smart idea. You see some of the shade being offered. Just trying to protect the legs as much as you can here.
Subaru Outback. It's right up by the valve of your tank. So if you're reaching your pocket,
Last game of the day for both of these teams to go back, have a good ice bath, hydration, and food, and maybe watch some tape as well from today's contest. Klein in flow, and that is too easy. That's Danny Klein, folks. 9th assist for number 41.
Danny Klein with a quick shot to the end zone for Reed Kendall, and a Lupo score. Flames 13, Whitman 8.
Just another one of those assists for Danny Klein. Nico Derringer on the mark after the play, put his hands up with the shrug. What can you do?
Especially when Klein's coming out of the backfield, gets at that power position, he has the flow. He is just putting those out to space right where his teammate needs to be. He's in the zone right now, folks. Don't necessarily look at the turns part because he is high volume player. I think you're going to take the turns with the assists and the offensive pace that he offers to the team.
Anytime you're getting close to double digits in goals or assists, you know that you are being used in the game. You are being used in the game plan, and the defense does not have too much of an answer for you.
I mean, we talk story of the game. It's 0 for 9 break opportunities for Whitman right now.
Wow.
Not able to knock a single one in is the story of this contest. Monahan. Got things over to Hahn. That backhand is going to sail, and no one in sight for Whitman.
Maybe got an accidental boost of air bounce into it, a little too much thumb into the action, popping the disc up on that inside out look.
McBain now. Sebastian Espinal had taken a tumble there. He was knocked down, I believe, by Jasper Brown. So play will stop momentarily.
Where we were.
Okay, it's gonna come in slowly.
And there's an injury. Okay.
Wait, what's going on?
There's an injury over here and a pick over here.
Okay.
What are we coming in
Karthik
on?
into the stack. Keep it to
We're
me.
coming in on 5.
McBain now getting free. Things now moving over to midfield here for Williams, trying to break to go up 14-8 right now. Having some of their starters not on the field right now for WUFO. This is a big point if they can score it. Allows those players to rest for future games in this tournament. Seattle's Cullen McBain now. Little lefty pass over, finding Zimmerman. And Zimmerman finds Will Bayris for the grab, and a 14-8 scoreline for WUFO, and they can taste the victory now.
Able to find some resets that not just to reset the stall count and keep possession of the disc, but also being able to get the momentum, get them running downfield a little bit, pushing the pace, pushing it up. That is yet another break for Williams.
It's break time right now in Williamstown, Massachusetts, because they are running away with this contest. 14-8 the scoreline. Bay Rice, get yourself on the score sheet right now on the live stream. And if you're enjoying this coverage, you can head to this website, altiworld.com/live. We thank you for tuning into the YouTube stream. You can catch other action happening throughout this tournament. Also, the Division I College Championships happening in Madison next weekend. That's altiworld.com/live. You can tune in, get a subscription event pack or all access. Lots of features and benefits available to you. So if you enjoy this coverage, head over there and check out more of this tournament. Now, Charlie Tannum, big defensive player. He's going to pull for this team. Whitman on offense, trying to salvage some things here. Scoreline the way it is, time the way it is. You're just hoping for a couple big momentum things to bring into tomorrow. And that is going to be momentum for Williams, as that's how they are going to end this contest. McBain finds Tannum, catch block, then flip for the goal. And WUFO takes this Pool D contest in style.
Williams trying to save some legs for tomorrow, end the game right now. Work hard now so you don't have to later.
It can't be understated what Williams just did, taking out a very strong Whitman squad who only lost one game all year. And they came in and really showed what they could do, especially on their defensive line offense. Not really giving Whitman a chance to breathe. That zone caused a lot of issues. And that's something teams, I'm sure, that are going to take them on in the bracket are going to look at as something they got to be aware of if they want to be successful against this Williams outfit. Because look at what happened here. Holds, Jimmy, not broken once. You got to love that.
9 for 9, relying on your big player, Danny Klein, running the offense, but then also relying on Buckeye to be able to get the disc back. That's how you're going to keep those holds. That's how you're going to keep other teams' D-lines from being able to get those breaks that they need. An all-around win from Williams. Very impressive showing against one of the better teams in the D3 division in Whitman.
So Williams is going to be feeling good right now. We got more coverage coming at you as well. The Richmond Spider Monkeys, Oklahoma Christian Eagles set to come at you at 3:15. local time here. As we get a look at Williams taking down this Whitman side. They take Pool D. They are getting a bye to the quarterfinals. Whitman had some highlights too, folks, but it was Williams' day. Little give and go action. Danny Klein finishing with 9 assists. Gets a block in there as well. As we see Ziegler making the grab for Whitman. But it's Williams who reigns supreme today. They take this contest 15-8, and they get the bye into the quarterfinals.